Deep in the Indian Ocean, there's a group of people, 450 in all, who had their own distinctive language and culture, and yet are Australian citizens. The Cocos Malay people are descendants of the slaves who were brought here to harvest coconuts in these, the Cocos Keeling Islands. The fascinating story of the Cocos Malay people in this episode of Travel Oz. Hello, I'm Grainger.
We are proud to live in Cocos Malay.
They are indeed proud to be both Australian and Cocos Malay.
And we want to live in peace and harmony.
They have their own schools, mosques, and elaborate wedding ceremonies. Ahead, the island home of the Cocos Malays. Also in this episode, the Gold Coast experienced the fast and the furious with the two Tims. And cycling Australia's top end, meet a man who spends his life on the roads of the outback. And relive wartime bombings and devastating cyclones on a cycling tour of Darwin. We're on Home Island in the Cocos Keeling group of atolls, way out in the Indian Ocean, almost 3,000 kilometres northwest of Perth. Offshore, we're greeted by a traditional fishing boat, a chukong, evidence of a strong Asian influence here. On shore, there are the four-wheel bikes used to transport the Cocos Malays around their tiny, tight-knit community. The people are descendants of the Malays brought here around 1820 by the Scottish seafarer John Clooney's Ross to harvest coconuts for copra. It's a society that has been held together for 8 generations by its very isolation, strong family loyalty, and a deep commitment to Islam.
Everyone's on this side of Home Island is Muslim. Actually, our religion is Islam, so that's the main reason why the whole community is Muslim. Women wear the baju kurung, which is covered on wrist and covered by legs. So we have actually a scarf to wear. And the men wear a top and a sarong. Yeah, that's also used for praying.
The original Cocos Malays were employed here by the Clooney's Ross family. Their home, Oceana House, still stands close to the Cocos Malay community. It's abandoned now after the Australian government took over administration of the island group 25 years ago, forcing the Clooney's Ross family into exile. Today, the Cocos Malay people live in a series of neat houses. Close to all these homes is this storm shelter. In a region where tsunamis wipe out entire communities and where cyclones are a threat every year, this shelter has been built to withstand the most brutal weather. As you'd expect in a strong Muslim community, there are a number of mosques. Today, the cornerstone of this Cocos Malay society and the focus of each individual life is the religion of Islam. The Cocos Malay people have been Muslim since the first settlement, with a large number of ceremonies held at various houses throughout the year these days for a wide range of family celebrations. While we're here, we'll attend a typical Cocos Malay wedding ceremony. But first, the community school. At home, their first language is Cocos Malay, an oral language with a Malay dialect that reflects the diverse origins of these people and their history of sporadic contact with outsiders. At school, though, computers are mandatory, with lessons given in English.
We are people living free on the Cocos Islands, surrounded by the sea. The Indian Ocean lights our shore, gentle breezes blow through our We are proud to live on Cocos Malay. Selamat datang is what we say. We love to live here by the sea, and we want to live in peace and harmony.
Obviously, we value their culture and we value their language, and we teach, as part of our overseas language, we teach Cocos Malay at school, but 95% of our lessons and our whole curriculum is in English. When you're dealing with kindergartens who don't speak a word of Cocos Malay, never mind English, then that certainly is a challenge.
Learning the language is certainly a challenge for me.
Maybe we can teach Greg some of our Cocos Malay, yes, some Cocos Malay. Maybe we could start with some introductions, you know, some welcome and the sorts of things for different times of the day. So who can start by telling Greg, and we'll see if we can get him to say. Isra, what could you say?
Selamat datang.
Is hello. Selamat datang. Selamat datang.
Selamat datang.
Datang. Datang.
Terima kasih.
Terima kasih. Have I got it?
Terima.
Terima kasih. Terima. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih.
This language I'm speaking is unique to Cocos Islands?
Yes.
So you speak two languages? Okay.
And they also learn, they also learn reading the Quran. So they actually learn to read Arabic as well.
Another learning experience are their cultural dances. These youngsters are practicing a dance that is part Scottish and part Asian. Now, the reason for that is that John Clooney's Ross came from Scotland and adapted Scottish jigs for the islanders. They in turn retained their colourful uniforms. The blended performances are still practiced to this day. Other traditional skills like basket weaving are still taught to the Cocos Malay children. Elders like Pyrrhus here volunteer their time to ensure the children learn a wide range of traditional values and customs. Strict Muslims they may be, but the Cocos Malay people still love their celebrations. Every single villager turns out for their weddings, a day in which the bride and groom are treated like royalty. It's a day of colourful processions and dancing. We'll follow one such magnificent wedding in a future episode of Travel Oz.